What is going on, everyone? It is Foster, and today I have a very interesting video for you guys. Today we're going to be looking at the macroeconomics of the cryptocurrency market and taking a look at why investing in certain types of tokens or coins may yield better results than others. And it has nothing to do with the actual tangibles of the project itself, but rather just the amount of money that's going into the project and the amount of money that you're left with after things like inflation and the amount of tokens that are in circulation are calculated. So stick with me to the end, guys. I think you'll find this one very interesting, and I think you'll understand the undertone of why I'm so excited about a specific token that I think a lot of you are probably invested in, and that of course I'm invested in, and you'll see how it all ties together. So starting from the top left corner of my screen, you can see here I'm referring to three different token types. There's inflationary, neutral, and deflationary. Now, the reason that we're focusing on those three different token types is they're really the three different token models that exist in the cryptocurrency space right now. So as an example, an inflationary token. That means that the token will continue to be minted and more will be added to circulating supply in almost an infinite case. So as an example, Dogecoin will continue to be minted and it has no theoretical max circulating supply. So that's an example of an inflationary token. Now, in this video, if I reference a specific token, I'm not saying that these numbers apply specifically to that token, but it's an example so you guys can kind of reference, hey, this is the type of token that makes sense. A neutral token. A neutral token would be one that has a max circulating supply, but has no mechanisms in place to produce more tokens, or by that metric, remove tokens. So as an example, a neutral token may be Bitcoin. Now, it's not the best example because technically Bitcoin is still being mined, but we do know that it has a theoretical max supply of 21 million Bitcoins. We don't remove any Bitcoins from circulation. There's no burning mechanism that's in place. Of course, if you lose your wallet or something, those tokens may disappear. However, right now, Bitcoin would be considered a neutral token. We know that it has 21 million tokens, and we can account for that when making investment decisions. And the final type of token is a deflationary token. Now, deflationary tokens are not all built equal. There are several deflationary tokens that exist in the markets, and there's different token models. As an example, the OMI token, which of course is a lot of the reason that you guys watch my channel, is a deflationary token, and there are tokenomic measures and mechanisms in place that ensure that those tokens are removed from the circulation. So we know the theoretical max of the token. It cannot be mined. It's 750 billion, but in circulation, only 310 billion. And then we have other mechanisms that's going to remove it from circulation. But of course, as I said before, not all are built the same. So as an example, you look at a token like SafeMoon, it has a deflationary tokenomic metric built into it, wherein if you make a purchase or you move the token, you lose 10% of that in transaction fees, and a percentage of that 10% gets burnt. So that's an example of deflationary tokenomics as well. But of course, there's no use case to certain tokens that may exist for others, which make them more valuable. But I don't want to go into that today. This is not meant to be comparing one token to another. It's meant to compare specific token types and show you why investing in one could be more valuable than another if you're looking into a token. So looking at those three token types, now that we've defined them, we can see here that I've created my own token. We're not going to give it a name. It's just a token, and it has 1 million tokens as the total supply. $1 for the token price, and the market cap of that is $1 million because $1 times 1 million tokens is $1 million. Now, this all starts off the same because there's been no tokens added, the same amount of tokens exist, and no tokens have been burnt. So this is our baseline scenario. So we know in this project that we're looking at hypothetically, the market cap stays the same and the tokens stay the same with the token price. So now we're going to take our money and we're going to invest it in this token. So now you can see that I've put $10,000 into three different tokens that exist. So token A, token B, token C. Token A is inflationary, token B is neutral, and token C is deflationary. Other than that, the token is exactly the same other than the mechanics behind it. We're going to assume that the demand for the token is exactly the same, that it's going to either burn or increase or stay neutral at the same rate. And you guys will really just start to see how the numbers start to come together. So I've invested $10,000 in each of these tokens. I received 10,000 tokens because of course $1 per token. And I own 1% of the circulating supply of all three of these tokens. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. I got 1% of the circulating supply. Everyone's talking about it on the internet. All these projects are going to go great. Let's see what happens with them. Well, now we start to look at the token price and the different tokenomics and how they're affected by different factors. So we can see here on the right-hand side, starting with Inflationary Tokenomics, this is the first token that we've invested the $10,000 into. We can see that the current circulating supply of tokens is 1 million, but each year the tokenomic model adds 10% of tokens to the circulating supply, whether that be to provide staking rewards or whether that be because it's mined and other people can gain access to it. This token, token A, has no theoretical maximum and increases on an average of 10% of the original token value per year. So we can see here that in the first year, we go from 1 million tokens to 1.1 million tokens. And then in year 2, we have 1.1 million tokens. We go up 10% again because people are receiving their staking rewards or they're mining more tokens. And we see that we go up to 1,210,000. So now we're not going up 100,000, we're going up 110,000. Now I'm not going to read through all of these numbers. You guys can of course pause the video and see this for yourselves. But you can see that once we get to year 5, only with a 10% increase in the tokenomic circulating supply each year, we now have 1.6 million tokens in the circulating supply for token A. Now, this means that the token has increased in supply by 60%, okay? That's a number they're going to want to keep in mind as we continue on. The neutral tokenomics, well, we can see here, nothing changes in that. It's very straightforward. No tokens are added and no tokens are removed. This is our Bitcoin. The circulating supply is what it is. It doesn't change. People can buy it and sell it. It may go up and down in value, but we know how many tokens exist. And then we have the bottom here. We have the deflationary tokenomics. And this is your OMI token that you can consider. Now, of course, it's not the OMI token, but the tokenomic works the exact same way. So we're looking at it, and we can see in the first year it has 1 million tokens. But each year, through burning, through staking, through using purchases and burning a percent of it, all of these are removing tokens from the circulating supply directly. So we can see that after the first year of people using this token, for whatever use case it may have, we lose 10% of the tokens. So then we go from 1 million tokens to 900,000 tokens. And then of course the next year we only have 900,000 tokens and we lose another 10%, we go down to 810,000. And you can see by the end of year 5, we only have 590,000 tokens in the circulating supply from an original supply of 1 million. So we've lost 40% of all of the tokens that existed just from them being used and them being burnt as a part of the utility that exists in whatever project it may be. Now, why is this relevant and why is this interesting? And of course, why does it get me excited about what I'm invested in? Because that's really what you guys are interested in. So let's look at the numbers here. The token price relative to the token circulating supply. That's a little bit of a mouthful, but essentially what it means is how valuable are my tokens that I own relative to the amount of tokens that exist in circulation. Now, of course, this is assuming that the market cap of the token remains the same. Now, what I mean by that is there's a $1 million market cap. As people buy or sell, this number may fluctuate, it may increase, it may decrease. But for this example, just to keep it simple, because it's a hypothetical anyways, we're going to keep it at a $1 million market cap so that we can calculate this. So this is what's interesting. We can see here that with our inflationary token, after the first year, my $10,000 worth of tokens are worth only 91 cents of every $1 that I invested. So what has happened is there's been 100,000 tokens that have been added, but the market cap has stayed the same. Therefore, there's more tokens that exist, but the demand hasn't fluctuated. So each token now decreases in value. So we can see here that as this goes down, each year, if the market cap stays the same, we're losing money every single year by just staying invested in the same amount, assuming that the demand is not kept with the amount of tokens that are being added. And when I say demand, that means that if 10% a year is added to the token supply, we need to ensure that there's at least 10% more purchasing power to increase that price relative to the amount of tokens that we're adding, or we're actually losing buying power and the value of our investment goes down, similar to the inflation that we're seeing right now. Of course, word inflation applies in real life. We've seen the CPI data, 9.1%. That means that your money is now not going as far as it did last year. And we're seeing that as the exact same with the inflationary tokens. Now, of course, the neutral token, it doesn't change at all. Look at it as a stable coin. Nothing's going up or down with it. The money stays the same because no new tokens are being added to circulation and none are being removed. But then we look at the deflationary tokens. And this is where it really starts to get interesting. And this is where I'm really going to look to start hammering the point home to you guys. Looking at the token price relative to the token circulating supply, well, we can see that at the end of year one, my tokens are now worth $1.11 per token. But I still only own 10,000 tokens. So why is this? Well, we can see that at the end of year one, we're only down to 900,000 tokens in the circulating supply. So now there are 10% less tokens that people can purchase from the circulating supply, meaning that I now own an additional percentage of that circulation. And assuming that the market cap stays the same, my tokens are now actually going to be worth more than they were at the end of the first year. And we can see that as the years go on, once we get up to year 5, assuming that the market cap stays the exact same, I don't buy any more tokens, I don't sell any more tokens, my tokens are now worth 70% more after 5 years than they were when I first bought them. And I needed nothing to occur other than the tokens to be removed from the circulating supply. Hopefully you guys can start to see the parallels here with the token that I think a lot of you are all invested in with the OMI token. I'm not going to go too much into it in this video because I've covered it in other videos, but you can start to see that as long as the demand is there for the token to be used for its intended purpose, you will start to see that it becomes a lot more valuable without really having to do anything at all. Now, of course, there's going to be some extra measures in place with deflationary tokenomics, which would be added incentives for people to purchase them because the demand now, even with less tokens, is likely going to outpace the supply. Whereas in this example, with the total tokenomics with inflationary, it's almost like an example where you always have to get your friends or your family to buy a specific token. So I'm not going to name any tokens specifically because I'm not going to try and throw shade at anyone in this video. But if you ever see anyone that goes, hey, this token's going to make us all rich as long as we all buy it, I don't want to invest in that token because I'm going to be left holding the bag, or I'm going to leave someone holding my bag. And that's really not what I'm looking to do. But if you invest into a deflationary token that has good tokenomics, not any token, right? But if you invest into a token that has strong fundamentals and good deflationary tokenomics, as those tokens are removed from the circulating supply, the demand is going to exist automatically, because even if the demand decreases by 10% a year, you're still looking at your neutral token price because that's what's offsetting the token being removed from circulation. So it's really interesting when you start to run the numbers and start to see it. And it's supported as well through the percentage of tokens held relative to the circulating supply. So not only is the value of my tokens going up when I'm holding a deflationary token, and not only are they going down when I'm holding an inflationary token, but as you can see, I'm actually holding less tokens relative to the percent of tokens that exist in the circulating supply. So looking at our year 1 to year 5 example, you can see that there's about a 60% decrease, or increase, I should say, in the amount of tokens that exist. And we can see here that the value of the tokens that I hold is becoming diluted, because the more tokens that are added, I'm not adding more than these 10,000 tokens. So now with the inflation, they're becoming less valuable, and the amount of tokens that I hold relative to that value is also becoming diluted. So this is where you really get hit with a double whammy. But similar to that, with the deflationary tokenomics, this is where you're also getting hit with that double whammy, but in a positive way, because in the token price is increasing based on the market cap, but I now own an additional 0.7% of the circulating supply of those tokens, not because I added any tokens to my bag, but because tokens are being removed, I now own a bigger percent. So that's why the deflationary tokenomics are absolutely phenomenal. And I can't think of any way to hammer home the point any better than the markup that I did down here. It's a lot of numbers, guys. If I'm throwing a lot at you, I apologize. You know me, I get excited sometimes when it comes to these things, and it really gives me a lot of confidence in the investments that I've been making, and realizing that at least for me, I've definitely put my money into the right place. So stick with me. We'll be done shortly, guys, and then you can let me know in the comments if you didn't understand anything, if you're excited, if it didn't absolutely make any sense to you, you let me know in the comment section down below. So We're looking at the token value with a market cap increase. So when I say market cap increase, of course, we started with a market cap of $1 million and we kept that standard throughout up until this point. But now we're going to look at, well, now the token price is going to fluctuate. So there's going to be demand for it. It's either going to be positive or negative. We've seen lately the stock market has gotten hit, crypto has gotten hit, prices are down. Let's look at what would happen if we're in a bear market. Let's see what would happen if we're in a bull market. What happens when our token price fluctuates? So now we're going to look at first a market cap increase, meaning more money is being put into the token and the price of the token should theoretically be increasing to accommodate for that market cap, which is how prices go up or down. So we can see here now in our year one example, our token doubles in price. So when I say double in price, I mean it goes from a $1 million to a $2 million market cap. So that's very exciting. But we can see here with an inflationary tokenomic model, after 1 year, we have $18,182. Now we can see here, that's not entirely accurate to a 2x because once again, we're losing money relative to the amount of money that we invested because of the inflation that's taking place. So realistically, we should be at the neutral number, which is 20,000, because that is in fact a 2x, which is 1 million to 2 million. That's a times 2, but we're only getting about 90% on a return instead of a 100%, which the neutral received. So why is that? So that is happening because the inflation is occurring. And that's obviously something that we're going to look to avoid as much as we can in anything that we're investing in. So of course, as you guys can see, if I invest in an inflationary token, I am battling the demand of that token relative to the amount that's being added. So now instead of having the token go 2x, I almost need the token to 2.2x in order for me to receive the exact same amount of money that I would if I was just invested in a neutral token that had the same theoretical max supply and was not going to increase. We can see here in the deflationary model, and if you guys were very sneaky, you'll notice that I paused the video for a moment there. The reason was because I realized I had done an incorrect math variable, and I wanted to make sure I had the correct numbers for you guys. So as you can see here, with the deflationary token, we're actually going to see an increase of about a 2.2x. And that's because of the deflationary model. So because tokens are being removed from circulation, even though the market cap only increased 2x, we've actually made almost an additional 20% or more just because of the tokenomic model that exists. And as we can see, as the market cap increases more, this becomes far more prevalent. So as we look at the $5 and $10 million market caps, we can see that the inflationary token starts to fall and lag behind the neutral token even more. And we can see that the deflationary token starts to come ahead of the neutral token even further. So we can see that as the numbers go up, we're just creating more and more wealth for ourselves if we're invested in a deflationary token that's increasing money for us. And this gets really hammered home when we look at the year 5 example. I didn't do all the years. We can do the calculations in between, but really what we're looking at is the year 1, which was the tokens at 900,000, the year 5 at 590,000, and of course up here, year 1 with the 1.1 million and the year 5 at the 1.6 million. You notice the difference between year 1 and year 5 is it's incredible. And the reason that it's incredible is that with a $2 million market cap after year 5 with the inflationary tokenomics, you're actually losing money. Because what's happening is you're losing out on the 10% every single year that it's going up, and 10% over 5 years is not going to offset a 2x that you experienced. So if it takes 5 years for you to double your market cap, you've actually lost $6,000 in purchasing power that you had over a 1 year 2x increase, which is incredible. And you can see here that with a 2 million market cap with the deflationary tokenomics, we're now up $23,000 from when we invested our initial $10,000. So you can see that we're really making that money. Of course, the neutral is just going to be the times 2, times 5, times 10. It's a lot more linear. And of course, I'm not saying that tokens necessarily move this way, but it's a really interesting consideration to take in. We'll get the 5 million and the $10 million market cap. And we can see here that the inflationary tokenomics start to lag behind even further from the neutral tokenomics. We can see here that unless the demand is really there for an inflationary token, you're going to be falling behind. You're likely going to be left holding the bag at some point. And inflationary tokenomics are really built more so for the demand of a quick pump and dump or get in and get out quickly. quickly, whereas the deflationary tokenomics allow you to take the time to invest in something. And even if it's not moving very quickly at any given time, you almost have the residual income or balance of those tokens being removed from that circulation, where you're still adding value to your investment without adding any more tokens, with just allowing time to almost compound your investment, which is absolutely incredible and very exciting. So we can see here the 2 million, 5 million, and 10 million market cap, we can see here that our investment goes up quite a bit. And as an example here, with a year 5 balance starting with $10,000 in year 1, we can see that if we invested in an inflationary token, our token would only be worth 62,000, which is still a 6x after 5 years, which I mean is not bad. But when you consider the market cap went up 10x, you really didn't even keep to inflation in order to make that money. Whereas you look at the neutral market cap, and of course it went up linear, and we're making exactly what the market cap reflects it should be. But then you look at the deflationary tokenomics, and assuming the demand stayed the same as it did for the neutral or the inflationary, we've actually made $169,000, which is more than $100,000 more than the inflationary token and $70,000 more than the neutral token. The other thing to consider as well is, well, this is great while the market's going up, but how does this affect my investment while my token is going down? It's going to be really incredible when we run these numbers, so we'll go through it quickly. In the year 1, same example, token type inflationary, but we're looking at a $500,000 market cap. So originally we were at $1 million, and we've now lost 50% of our portfolio value. It's no longer worth that amount of money. It's worth half of that, but it's not actually worth half of that. Half of that would be $5,000. So we can see here that the inflationary, it's actually only worth $4,545. So not only have we lost 50% of our portfolio value because the market has taken a downturn, but we've also lost money to the inflationary tokenomics, and we've lost an additional 10% because of the tokens that have been added. So we're losing spending power, we're losing buying power, and overall, it's just not a valuable proposition. We can see here with the 750K market cap, still down below, and the $1 million market cap, still down below. Looking at the neutral, of course, linear numbers. And then we look at the deflationary tokenomics. We can see here that even if our investment was to be cut in half based on market cap, we would actually have $5,500 instead of $4,500. So our investment is still worth $1,000 more because of the removal of the tokens from the circulating supply than if the tokens were being added. We can see it here again at the $750,000 market cap, and we can see it again with the $1 million market cap. We're still making money even if our market cap does not change. After 1 year, we've still made 10% because that 10% has been removed from the circulating supply, making our tokens 10% more valuable every year that we hold them, with nothing other than the tokenomics acting in our favor. So it gets hammered home a lot in the year 5 example. We can see here 5 years later with a $500,000 market cap, we've lost that money to inflation year over year. So now instead of $4,500, we only have $3,100. Whereas with the deflationary token, we've actually made some of that money back, even though the market cap is cut in half, because those tokens have been removed from the circulating supply, adding value to our bag every year that happens. With the $750,000 market cap, we're down at $4,600, which is actually around where we were at a $500,000 market cap at year 1. So even if it recovered some of its value, we could still be down just as much, if not more, with an inflationary token. And with a $1 million market cap, we see that it's actually all the way down to $6,200, meaning that if you invested $10,000 in this hypothetical token and held it for 5 years, and they added 10% to the circulating supply every year for those tokens, and the demand did not increase for that token, you would actually lose $3,800 or 38% of the value that you invested in that token for nothing other than them just adding more tokens, which just goes to show that investing in an inflationary token, if the demand is not there for it, is going to lose you money. Neutral token, once again, is linear. And then the deflationary token, we can see here with a $500,000 market cap, $8,400. So we're still losing a bit of money, but we're getting some of that buying power back. We've made $3,000 in the last 4 years because those tokens have been removed from circulation, even if the demand isn't quite there for the project. With a $750,000 market cap, we've actually made $2,700 off of our initial investment, even though our market cap for the project has gone down 25%. We're still making money after 5 years just because of those deflationary tokenomics. And then, of course, with a $1 million market cap for 5 years, we invest in a project. It goes absolutely nowhere. The demand for it stays linear, but those tokens are being removed from circulating supply. We will actually make $16,935, which is essentially a 70% return in 5 years, which is something that you'd probably be happy to see in a stock market for just having deflationary tokens in place. So how do we sum all of this up, and what do all of these numbers mean? Well, invest in whatever you guys want to invest in. Of course, at the end of the day, I'm not here to give you investment advice. I'm not here to tell you guys what to do. But if you had to guess which one of the tokens I'm invested in right now and what type of token type it falls into, you would obviously know that the OMI token is deflationary. And there's a reason that I get so excited about it when I talk about it. And when I run the numbers about it, it just gets me more and more bullish. And you can see it here that if we were to extrapolate this with the amount of tokens that were in the circulating supply for OMI right now, you would see that these numbers could really start to come down. And you can see that even if our token price stays stagnant in the short term, we're still going to be burning a ton of tokens. We're still going to be adding value to our bags. And we're going to have the benefit of reducing the token supply as well as increasing the value of the remaining tokens from the demand that exists for it. So it gets me very excited, guys. I hope that all of this video made sense to you. It was a little bit longer than I meant it to be, but if you stuck with me to the end, you guys are absolute legends. Comment down below, let me know, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already so you do not miss any more content like this. Thank you all for the support. As always, I love you all. Peace.